Hey guys, it's me, Devin, and I'm going to be doing a quick video for you. I know it's been so long since my last video, but I kind of got into this slump of making videos and reading, so I'm finally wanting to restart the whole YouTube channel thing. So why not start it with a fun video that's not too serious? So for this video, I'm going to be showing you the series that I own and one series that I don't, that I want to complete in the year 2016. Now, I've caught up on some series, like the Amulet series by Kazu Kibuishi and the Saga series by Brian K. Vaughan, I believe his name is. I've caught up on those with the new releases, but these series are ones that I own that are either fully complete or I need to catch up on, so let's get started now. So this first series is actually one of my favorite fantasy series, and that is the Prophecy series by Ellen Oh. This series is about Korean mythology, and it takes place in South Korea, and if you know me, you know I love Korean culture. So I'm hoping to finish this series this year. The first book is Prophecy, the second book is Warrior, and the third book I don't own, which is King. So I cannot wait to get my hands on that and finish this series. This next series I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself for not finishing, seeing as I actually talked to this author a lot after the first book came out and telling her how much I really love this book. And she actually sent me an ARC, so I feel really bad for not finishing this book when it first came out. It was 2014. So I really feel bad, but I'm going to get to it and I know I'm going to love it. And that is the Find Me trilogy by Romilly Bernard. I don't have the first one with me. It's in my room on my top shelf above the ceiling, or on the ceiling, and I was not in the mood to climb. So the first book's Find Me. The second book is Remember Me, and the third book is Trust Me. It's a thriller book involving a girl named Wick who is a hacker, and she kind of has to solve these mysteries along with the police, and it's just so fun and so mysterious, and I just love them, especially these covers. I like how they use the words to form pictures of the girl's face just by coloring them differently. So I'm really looking forward to finishing this, and that way I could tell the author I finally finished her books. This next series is a series you're probably all going to yell at me about, and that is the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. Now, before you start, I did read the first two books and I did thoroughly enjoy them. I just didn't have the next three books in the series when I read them, and I was tired of going to the library and waiting for copies, so I just stopped reading them, and now that I have 3 copies, thanks to my library book sale, I can now finish them. The books I need to finish is The Titan's Curse, The Battle of the Labyrinth, and The Last Olympian. So when I get to these, you guys will all know and we can all talk about it together. This next series is a series I started because of the covers, and then when I read the synopsis, I fell in love with the idea of it. And that series is Let the Sky Fall by Shannon Messenger. The first book, Let the Sky Fall, it starts off with a boy named Vince, I believe, or Vane, a boy named Vane, and this girl named Aura, who is a sylph, and she is an air elemental, so she's one with air. She can control it, become it, and I just love the idea of it. And I really did like the story, and I couldn't wait for the second book to come out, which is Let the Storm Break, but at that time, I was so engrossed in other books that I never finished it, so it is my time to finish it. This is a trilogy. The third book came out with a cover change, so pissed off, but I'm going to read it and enjoy it, and I can gripe about the covers later. The next series I want to complete in 2016 is a series I don't fully own. I only own the first book, and that's because I bought it after I read it, and that is the Unearthly trilogy by Cynthia Hand. This is a trilogy all about angels, and it's got an amazing cast of characters, and I love the premise. Plus, this cover is my favorite color, purple. Like, do you not see a theme with my hair being purple, book being purple? Like, come on. Plus my room's purple. But I really enjoyed this series, so I cannot wait to reread this and then finish the rest of the series. This next 2 books are 2 books that are conclusions to a series. The first series is the Incarnate series by Jodi Meadows. This is book 3, Infinite, which is kind of hard to see with the glare of the sun, but there you go. It's gorgeous, right? So this series is all about a girl who is considered a newborn. Her name's Anna, and in her world, everyone is reborn after they die into another person, whether it's a boy or girl. And she's a new soul, which means she's the first ever version of herself. She doesn't come from a different era or from years ago. And she's not liked by her fellow citizens. But then she meets a boy, and all these mysteries unravel, and it's an amazing series. But this was one of those, I don't want the series to end phobias, so I never picked the third book up when it came out. So I think it's time to finish this amazing trilogy and get my hands on the first book. I normally, when you ask me my favorite book, it would be Deltora Quest or Harry Potter, but they're both middle grade. And usually when people ask me, they always ask me for like books that are in young adult. So my answer to the what's your favorite young adult series or book is the Graceling series by Kristin Cashore. The first book is Graceling, the second book is Fire, which the second book is a companion and a prequel to Graceling. Like it takes place like 20 years before Graceling. So the book Graceling is the first book that came out. Fire is the second book. However, Fire is first in the timeline and it's just a companion. And they only have one similar character. So when you're reading the book, you can read it, the first two books in any order. You can read Graceling first or you can read Fire first. But Bitter Blue is the sequel to Graceling and is a companion to Fire. So you need to read this after Graceling. So you read Fire, Graceling, Bitter Blue, or Graceling, Fire, Bitter Blue. No matter what, this has to be the last one. But it's all about a world where certain people have two colored eyes, like one brown, one blue, one silver, one black. And if you have two color eyes, you're considered a Graceling. And if you're a Graceling, you are graced with an ability of some sort. Now, not fire, not magic, nothing like that. You could be graced with dancing, you could be graced with cooking, you could be graced with fighting, or you could be graced with the ability to eat rocks and not die. So the main character of this series is graced with killing. Then this next series is actually a series I fully own all the books of. That is Partials by Dan Wells. This is a science fiction novel with medical parts in it, or a lot of medical parts in it. It's basically about this girl named Kira, and in the world she lives in, the United States, the area and town she lives in only has 17,000 people, and that's the only number they know to have survived a battle that happened between them and the things they created called Partials, which are part human and part robot. And the Partials, before the war ended, released a virus where when you have a baby, the baby does not survive the first 24, 48 hours, so the population cannot grow and the humans are slowly dying off. So the main character, Kira, goes off in search for a cure. So you got the first book, Partials, you got the second book, Fragments, and then you got the third book, Ruins. So I cannot wait to finish this trilogy. This next series is probably one of the biggest shockers next to Bitter Blue, and that is the Birthmark trilogy by Carrig M. O'Brien. I talk about Birthmarked all the time on this channel, and I know it's been a while since I've made videos, but it's in a lot of my favorite series or in the tag videos I do. And it's just a dystopian novel, and if you want to know more about it, just look for my other videos. But the series and these characters are just amazing. The second book, Promised, I've already read, just like Birthmarked, but I haven't read Promised yet, and I've reread Birthmarked twice. And now it's time to reread Prize so I can get to Promised and finally finish this amazing series. And guys, if you haven't picked up this series, you totally need to. The covers are amazing, the characters are amazing, and you're just gonna love it. At least I hope so. Why is it so hot in this house? This next series is actually a series I don't own, so they're going to be library books I'm showing you. But the series is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. Now, I've read this already back in January, and I did enjoy it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought the character was awesome, like the fact that she liked to read, and she was, this assassin. So I read this, and I was going to read Crown of Midnight, but I just didn't have the time. So it's been a year since I read the series, so I'm currently rereading Throne of Glass again, so I can catch up on the series before the 5th book comes out. However, while rereading this book, I'm listening to it on audiobook, and I don't remember Celaena being so stuck up and conceited about being an assassin before. It's different now that I'm listening to somebody else read the words off the page, but I just don't remember her being this cocky, and it's kind of turning me off to her as a character. And I'm pretty sure she does change during the book itself, but right now she's really driving me nuts. And I know you don't really see her assassinate anybody in this book, at least not that I remember, but I do wish that before chapter 1 started, there was a prologue or a story beforehand of her actually assassinating somebody and how she became, the greatest assassin in that country. But I'm giving it a try. Hopefully she gets better, because if not, the 4 stars might have to go down to 3. But you got the first book, Throne of Glass, the second book, Crown of Midnight, the third book is Heir of Fire, the fourth book is Queen of Shadows, and I don't remember the title of the fifth book. But I know there's 6 books in this series, so I want to catch up on these before the 5th book comes out at the end of this year. The second to last series is a series that I started, I believe, the end of last year. Really liked it. Got the second book from Book Outlet, but I just never finished it, and that is the Article 5 trilogy by Kristen Simmons. The first book is Article 5. It's dystopian. I actually really enjoyed the main characters. The main girl character was really strong, and I liked how there wasn't really a romance in the story. Like, the main 2 characters were broken up before the main plot started, so it wasn't really romancy because they already had a past. But it ended on such a cliffhanger, and I cannot wait to read Breaking Point, which is the second one, and then the third book is called 3. And the final series I have for this video is another surprising series alongside Birthmarked and Graceling, and that is the Rotten Ruin series by Jonathan Mayberry. Now, I did read Rotten Ruin twice, actually. I read it the first time, and then when I got Dust and Decay, when I got the second book in the series, I reread the first one using the audiobook again, which is the best way to read the series. I recommend the audiobook. The guy who narrates it is really good. But I read the second one, I read the first one twice. I started and actually got 100 pages into the second book, which is Dust and Decay, but I got distracted by life and I never finished it. So I'm hoping to grab the audiobooks on CD, download them to my iTunes, put it on my iPod or my iPhone, and finish the second book, which is Dust and Decay. Then I can get on to Flesh and Bone, then Fire and Ash, and then finally a bind-up called Bits and Pieces. This is technically book 5, but it is a bind-up of short stories that were already published, which happened before the Rotten Ruin book, which is before the actual Plague of Zombies, and then a bunch of parts from the character Nyx's journal during the whole series. So I cannot wait to finish the series. The covers are amazing. You got regular, human, then zombie. Plus, it's a rainbow. You got blue, yellow, orange, and dark blue, and then there's green. So I am so happy that I will hopefully be able to finish this series, and I totally recommend it if you're a fan of zombies, because it's a completely different take, and it's more of a story of family than it is zombies, which to me is really good because I'm tired of zombie novels being only like horror novels. So that's it for all the series. There are other series I own, like the Dark Divine series, Need by Carrie Jones, Destiny's Path or Warrior Princess. There's a bunch of other series I own that I haven't finished yet, but they're series that I'm not sure if I actually want to finish them or not. So I'm not putting them in this video. These are series that I want to finish this year, or at least finish half of these series this year. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've read any of these books or have any recommendations for other books, please leave them in the comments below. I've been trying to find books that are similar to Graceling for a while, and it's just hard for me to find a book that lives up to it. So if you guys have any recommendations for books that are like Graceling or like Birthmarked or Rotten Ruin, please let me know in the comments. I would love that. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys again soon, hopefully, and I won't disappear. Maybe. Bye.